city is. So we done seen it all take place. That's why I don't give a fuck. So like I say, they gonna be sharing their perspective.
Oh, we back. Hey, welcome back. Part two, Mayor Eric Adams. It's just some quick points I wanted to do and show some videos. I just wanted to finish up the topic. So, after the charges were dropped by the Trump DOJ Pam Bondi, he said, I'm a New Yorker and this is the greatest city on the globe. And it's a privilege being your mayor, something I did not take for granted one day. And I'm going to continue to serve you. Adams said, as I have repeatedly said, I have always been solely beholden to the people of this city. No special interests, no political opponents, but just everyday New Yorkers, just you, and I'm going to continue to do that. So today we turn the page, we move forward together. Before he went back into Gracie Mansion, Adams held up a copy of The Government Gangsters, a book by FBI Director Kash Patel. Read it and understand how we can never allow this to happen to another innocent American. In his ruling to dismiss the case with prejudice, Judge Holt took issue with the Department of Justice request to dismiss the case without prejudice, meaning he could have faced trial on the same charges again at a later time. He won't face charges. It's with prejudice. They can't bring it back up. He summarized the DOJ's reasons to drop the cases based on three things. It's tainted with impropriety, detrimental to national security, and immigration enforcement was a weak case to begin with. They only targeted him and prosecuted him because of his going against the Biden Harris on immigration. There may or may not be good reasons to drop this prosecution, but the reasons articulated by the DOJ, if taken at face value, are inconsistent with the decision to leave the charges in indictment hanging like a proverbial sword of Damocles over the mayor, Judge Holt wrote. And there are many reasons to be troubled by DOJ's proffered rationales, further supporting dismissal with prejudice. Judge Holt also addressed why he couldn't continue to pursue the case after the DOJ moved to dismiss it. Some will undoubtedly find today's decision unsatisfying, wondering why, if the DOJ's reasons for dropping the case are so troubling. Danye, turn that down. Close the door. I'm sorry. Hold on. He's not part of the treason charge. He's the mayor. He don't have no real power. Um, The court does not simply deny the motion to dismiss altogether, but as explained above, the court cannot order DOJ to continue the prosecution, and it is aware of no authority that would empower it, as some have urged, to appoint an independent prosecutor. Therefore, any decision by this court to deny the government's motion to dismiss would be futile at best, because DOJ could, by all indications, unequivocally, would simply refuse to prosecute the case, inevitably resulting in a dismissal after 70 days for violating the mayor's right to a speedy trial. That route would simply postpone finality in this case to date. Wow. To be clear, the court again emphasizing that it does not express any opinion as to the merits of the case or whether the prosecution of Mayor Adams should move forward, Judge Ho said. Right, because Adams was accused of accepting illegal campaign donations from the Turkish government, 5 counts of bribery, wire fraud, and conspiracy. He pleaded not guilty. The charges were dropped after U.S. Department of Justice sent a memo to prosecutors, and I think the lead prosecutor ended up resigning. Okay, I think that's it because this is as far as I wanted to go. Hey, I didn't know I had all this. This was one hell of. Oh, I'm glad I didn't read all this. Oh my God, this is one hell of a timeline on Mayor Eric Adams. Yeah, I need all this on my phone. Yep, so they cannot bring back the charges. And we about to get in some videos. I just want to delete this stuff out my phone real quick. I think it's like 5 or 6 videos and I'm done. Hold on. That's a lawsuit. I think that is it. Okay, that is it. So we done with that. Let's hit these videos real quick. All right, here we go.
Bombshell letter. Prosecutors say they were prepared to bring a new indictment against the mayor.
We have team coverage for you tonight. Let's kick things off with Fox Eye's Morgan Mackay, who's live in Lower Manhattan with all of today's breaking developments. Morgan?
Yes, Steve, Natasha. And just to note, the criminal charges against Mayor Eric Adams still have not been dropped yet. Interim attorney, U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, instead of dropping the charges, resigning today in a move that the Justice Department is calling insubordination. But in her resignation letter, Sassoon outlining that she was planning to superseding indictment, additionally charging Adams with destroying evidence and lying to the FBI. Interim U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, abruptly quitting on Thursday instead of following the Justice Department's order to drop the criminal charges against Mayor Eric Adams. In their memo, the DOJ admitted that they did not assess the evidence in the case, but argued that the indictment distracted Adams from fully focusing on President Donald Trump's immigration policies. While the Justice Department accepted Sassoon's resignation, also told her that the prosecutor who worked on Adams' case will be placed on administrative leave, and that Sassoon will face an internal investigation, calling her move insubordination. Meanwhile, Adams met with Trump's border czar Tom Homan at ICE's New York headquarters. It was Adams' second meeting with Homan, who reportedly wants to see Adams take more action on immigration, according to a group of council members who met with Homan separately.
The mayor has to make good on some of his promises. He's told that to the Common Sense Caucus also months ago that we want criminals out. It's not happening.
In his first meeting, Adams told Homan that he wants to reopen the ICE office at Rikers Island and said he would be
I
open to
told
taking
y'all.
executive action when it comes to removing some of the protections in New York sanctuary city laws. Adams hasn't done either of those things yet, but critics worry that now that the DOJ intervened in Adams' case, Adams will be just Trump's pawn.
It seems overtly intended to serve as a continued instrument of blackmail against our city's mayor, to serve as an arm of the Trump administration.
The Justice Department did leave the door open to possibly recharging Adams, telling prosecutors they can re-examine the case after the November election. House Minority Leader Hakeem
Wow.
hasn't really weighed in.
See, I ain't know that part. But they eventually did it with prejudice, so he can't be tried. Wow. Oh shit. Oh shoot, we went to the wrong one. Oh, here we go.
6 senior U.S. Justice Department officials resigned on Thursday rather than comply with an order to dismiss corruption charges against.
They say
Mayor
16
Eric Adams.
resigned.
According to internal Justice Department letters seen by Reuters and people familiar with the matter, the departures mark a sign of resistance from career justice officials to President Donald Trump's efforts to overhaul the agency. Mayor Adams, a Democrat, was hit in September with a 5-count indictment on charges he accepted bribes from Turkish officials. He pleaded not guilty. Adams has argued he was targeted by former President Joe Biden's administration for criticizing its immigration policy. For months, Adams has sought to forge closer ties with Trump, which has fueled speculation he may be trying to secure a pardon. Thursday's wave of resigning officials included Manhattan's top federal prosecutor, Danielle Sassoon, the Trump administration's recent pick to temporarily lead the office prosecuting Adams. The resignations came after Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove had ordered Sassoon to dismiss the case against Adams on Monday, saying that the case was interfering with the mayor's ability to help Trump's immigration crackdown. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi dated February 12th and seen by Reuters on Thursday, Sassoon said it would be improper to dismiss the charges in return for Adams' help on immigration, in addition to saying she had planned to seek a new indictment accusing Adams of destroying evidence and directing others to do so. Bove, the Deputy Attorney General, was at one time Trump's personal criminal defense lawyer. In a Thursday memo, Bove said Sassoon had refused to comply with what he called his office's finding that the case against Adams amounted to, quote, weaponization of the justice system, and that, quote, the Justice Department will not tolerate the insubordination.
Oh,
His office would take over the Adams case and move to
I
dismiss it.
know that.
As of Thursday afternoon, a formal motion to do so had not yet been filed.
Yeah, I'm about to get my cigarettes. Oh.
Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Today, we're diving deep into the largest pandemic-era fraud case in America. A scheme so bold, it stole from hungry children, scammed taxpayers, and ended in the longest sentence yet, 28 years in federal prison for one of its masterminds, Abdulaziz Farah. This case should outrage every American, regardless of party, because it's outright disgusting. Let's break down what happens when government bloats, oversight fails, and no one's held accountable until now. Welcome to Nelly Miranda.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with that.
For those familiar, Feeding Our Future was a Minnesota-based nonprofit that claimed to feed the low and
I don't know where that's coming from. Okay. Hold on, here I come. I'm coming right back. Get down. Okay, I already played that one. We can get that one gone. Okay, we can let that one go. Okay, I'm gonna let this one play here.
As we've been reporting, Manhattan's top career federal prosecutor resigned Thursday, just days after a Justice Department official ordered her office to dismiss corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. That's according to sources familiar with the matter. CBS News has obtained the resignation letter of Danielle Sassoon, who has been serving as acting
You
U.S.
about to start
attorney
cooking?
for the Southern District of New York. She called the memo from Assistant Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove inconsistent with, quote, ability and duty to prosecute federal crimes without fear or favor. On Thursday afternoon, President Trump was asked about the case against Mayor Adams.
If I could ask you about a development in your hometown today, the U.S. Attorney has resigned over the DOJ's request to drop the case into Eric Adams. Did you personally request the Justice Department to drop that case?
No, I didn't. I know nothing about it. I did not.
Thomas Dupree joins me now. He's a former U.S. Deputy Assistant Attorney General. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. What was your reaction?
I'm glad. Thank you, Therapy.
This case against Eric Adams be dropped, and then that the top three people in this office resigned as a result.
Well, it's extraordinary on any level. We haven't seen anything like this until really you go back to the Nixon era and the famous Saturday Night Massacre. We saw the resignation of the top federal prosecutor in New York, and that was immediately followed by cascade to additional resignations from top prosecutors based here in Washington, D.C. It looks an early test, I think, of the system. I think the Trump team wanted to make clear that prosecutors who didn't carry out the orders of senior Justice Department officials would be terminated. And at the same time, we also saw career prosecutors refusing to implement and to follow and to execute on what they viewed as improper, unwarranted instructions from above.
In a resignation letter, Sassoon said that Mr. Bove scolded a member of her team for taking notes during the meeting with Adams' attorney and ordered the notes be collected at the meeting's end. Is that normal?
No. Not remotely normal. It reminds me of there was the famous episode in Trump's first administration where he didn't like lawyers taking notes. And so it's similar to that. But look, that's not normal. Typically, if you have conversations with Justice Department officials or even if you have defense lawyers in the room, it's exceedingly common for lawyers to take notes. So I was surprised when I saw that. And I think that was a very strategic inclusion in Danielle Sassoon's resignation letter that she wanted to make people aware that people have been directed to discard their notes.
Closing thoughts, Tom.
Well, I think this is going to be possibly the first in similar situations we will see arise. It's interesting that it happened this early, and I think it's also important to note that Danielle Sassoon was put by Trump in her position. She's a conservative, she's a career prosecutor, and I think the Trump people maybe will take a message from what's happened today.
Thomas Dupree, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Therapy. Thank you. Oh. I want to show a couple of more. Get this stuff out my phone. Just give me a minute because I'm trying to delete this stuff. Here we go. All right, here we go. This why his charges was dropped too. Because this, remember I said.
All right, so the border czar, Tom Homan.
They said a day would come when the enemies of Africa would be desperate enough to try anything, to invent any paper, to stamp any seal, to write any so-called law, just to bring down the spirit of a free man. That day.
I don't know where that came from.
All right, so the border czar, Tom Homan, and the Trump administration cementing a relationship with their first major Democratic city when it comes to immigration enforcement. Following his meeting with Tom Homan, the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, says he will allow immigration and customs enforcement agents on Rikers Island, the city's largest jail. Adams believes some on the left are selling a false narrative on ICE raids and that sanctuary city laws have gone too far.
I didn't get the partnership from the previous administration. This administration is saying we're willing to help you get dangerous people off your street.
But the cooperation is not happening nationwide. For example, in Santa Cruz, California, near San Francisco. That city reaffirming its commitment to becoming a sanctuary city, saying it will restrict the use of city resources for immigration enforcement. But would you look at this headline in the state of Texas? Big change there. As the Texas Tribune reports, Texas migrant shelters are nearly empty. Joining me now is the former DHS secretary in the first Trump administration, Chad Wolf, back with us here on the Hill tonight. Chad, nice to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
What do you think the motive is there for Eric Adams? There's a lot going on in that city. There's been a lot of conversation with him. Or do you even think the motive matters at all?
Well, I think he understands that with President Trump, Tom Homan, and the new team in town, that he needs to play ball. Look, I think he understands. He comes from a law enforcement background. I think he understands the need and the desire to get dangerous individuals off of his streets. Now, look, when he had a Biden administration, he got no traction on that front.
Facts.
Now,
Facts.
with the team in place, I think he can start to make some difference in protecting New York City. Now, the biggest question I have is, these are all great words. Let's make sure that the actions are backed up by words, and he allows that cooperation to happen with ICE.
Yeah, do you trust him? I mean, after all, he is the Democratic mayor in New York City.
Again, I think you have to take him at his word. And again, I think the fact that he comes from law enforcement, he has a predilection to cooperate, and he understands what ICE and Tom Homan and others are trying to do. So again, I do accept his word, but I'm going to look for his actions to back those up.
I'm looking at ICE arrests, daily averages, and they are clearly up under President Trump. 636 per day here at the.
I'm just saying, that's why they was dropped. And he opened up Rikers Island. ICE got a office at Rikers Island.
And it came right.
U.S. attorneys resigned rather than follow a demand to drop corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams. My next guest met with the Democratic mayor just days after that order came down and got some notable concessions on Trump's push to round up migrants in New York. Joining me now is President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. Thank you so much for being here, sir. I just want to ask directly, you met on Thursday with the New York mayor, and he announced then that he would give ICE agents access to the prison on Rikers Island. You called that a game changer. A few days before Adams made that announcement, the government instructed prosecutors to drop federal corruption charges against him. It sounds like the DOJ dropped the case against Adams, and in exchange, he let you into Rikers. Is that what happened?
No, I think that's ridiculous. Me and Mayor Adams met a couple months ago. I think it was probably 8-9 weeks ago we met. We had the same discussion. And we talked about getting a presence in Rikers Island. We talked about how we can collaborate on public safety threats and finding the missing children that that can't be found after they release the sponsors. And we had that a couple months ago, long before this other discussion. So I don't have anything to do with it. Matter of fact, the meeting was very well. It's the same meeting we had a few weeks ago. The reason we had the follow-up meeting because there's no action being done. So we follow up on how we get some of this stuff in place, and that's what the meeting Thursday was about.
Right. I mean, you absolutely have been honest about the fact that you met with Adams before in December, I think it was. You came away from that meeting really unsatisfied. What changed between then and now, other than the Department of Justice dropping the case against Adams?
No, I didn't come out of that meeting unsatisfied. I was after several weeks, I was taken back that we hadn't gotten any action on that yet about getting the records on. So we rescheduled a meeting to talk. Okay, well, we talked about what things we need to put in place for how we can make this happen. So let's get going. Let's take some steps forward. Now the meeting Thursday about, and we came out Thursday with a plan and how we get records on in the criminal intelligence division. So we get an understanding of who's in there, who's foreign born in the records on. That's a significant public safety threat. We also talked about how we can collaborate on the missing children, many that are being in New York City, and that's what we talked about. I really don't think had anything to do with whatever's going on in the Justice Department. We never talked about that. It's kind of out of my lane. I've been talking to the mayor for months about getting in records on, and that's what we talked about.
Yeah, and I totally understand you do not work in the Department of Justice, but you do work in the broader Trump administration.
Close the door!
Is in law enforcement, you call yourself a cop. Just looking at the series of events, sir, the fact that you didn't get what you wanted, you came away not sure why he wasn't doing what you wanted him to do, particularly with opening Rikers. The Department of Justice.
I'm gonna let that go because she goes on and on. I can't stand Dana Bash. I can't stand her. Just a couple of more videos. This is Obama number 2.
I'm joined now by Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York, the top Democrat in the House. Leader Jeffries, thank you for joining us. I want to start with that extraordinary situation in New York. Before she resigned, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York sent the Attorney General a scathing letter accusing DOJ of engaging in a quid pro quo with Mayor Adams. Let me just read part of that letter. She wrote, rather than be rewarded, Adams' advocacy should be called out for what it is, an improper offer of immigration enforcement assistance in exchange for the dismissal of his case. It is a breathtaking and dangerous precedent to reward Adams' opportunistic and shifting commitments on immigration and other policy matters. How concerned are you that the Trump administration is trying to use the justice system to control the mayor of New York City?
Very concerned, and the situation is very disturbing. Mayor Adams has a responsibility to convince the people of New York City that he will be able to continue to govern in a manner that puts their best interests first at all times, and that he's not simply taking orders from a Trump administration, a Trump Department of Justice, or Trump officials who do not have the best interests of the city of New York at heart.
Because this prosecution has been suspended, which means the Justice Department can renew the prosecution at any time if they don't like what Adams is doing.
That's correct. Listen, this Department of Justice is not promoting law and order. It's promoting lawlessness and disorder. And that's been consistent with what we've seen from the Trump administration.
That's a lie.
From the very beginning.
That's a lie. I can't stand Hakeem. I cannot stand him. Obama number 2. Oh, shoot. Obama number 2. I used to like him. Can't stand him now. He weak to me. Just a couple of more. I just want to finish this topic off up. Let me see. Oh, this what happened. Oh, this.
Shakeup at City Hall seems to be rattling everyone but the mayor tonight.
All right, Fox 5's Morgan McKay was with the mayor today when it all went down. She's live at City Hall. And Morgan, lots of pieces here moving quickly this afternoon.
Yes, Natasha, half of Mayor Eric Adams' deputy mayors have now submitted their resignation. A spokesperson for Adams tells me that this likely won't go fully into effect, at least for the next few weeks, as they help assist with a smooth transition. But these departures mark a significant turning point for Adams as he works to prove that he can govern effectively and run for re-election. First Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, Deputy Mayor for Operations Mira Joshi, Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, Williams Isom, and Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Chauncey Parker, have all submitted the resignation. Torres Springer's departure is seen as particularly concerning since she is a longtime veteran of City Hall. She was appointed first deputy mayor in October of last year, after the former first deputy mayor Sheena Wright resigned following a federal investigation that ensnared Wright and her husband, the former school's chancellor David Banks. Deputy Mayor of Public Safety Chauncey Parker was also recently appointed to his position after his predecessor Phil Banks was also forced to resign last year as he faced his own investigation. All four deputy mayors didn't address why they are resigning in their resignation letters, but reportedly they are concerned they will be unable to do their jobs effectively as questions loom about Adams' relationship with the Trump administration now that they are moving to drop the criminal charges against Adams. Adams addressed these departures as he left a rally earlier today.
When I was indicted, people said that's the end of the administration. People said that, the people have lost confidence. And go back and do an analysis from the day that I was indicted to what we have accomplished. That is my ability to lead through turmoil, and I'm going to continue to do that.
But now Council Speaker Adrian Adams is calling on Mayor Adams to resign, saying if
Yeah, when those charges was dropped, all hell broke out. All hell broke out, and they called for his resignation, which you see he has not, because he's still running for re-election. Okay, I can let this one go. Grayson, what are you doing? Okay, I can let this one go. I'm going to let this other one play.
Sanctified among us are calling for me to step down. I'm not going to step down, I'm going to step up. So no matter what they say, I'm going to continue to fight for you. I am going nowhere.
Not going nowhere. The pressure is mounting for Adams to resign after the Justice Department ordered corruption charges against him to be dropped.
Like he said, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't went nowhere. Then Hochul wanted to meet with her. I can't stand her. I think she's the dumbest woman.
Many people unnerved. Just an hour ago, Governor Hochul released a statement calling it troubling, adding that the situation cannot be ignored.
Fox 6's Arthur Chien is live at City Hall. The governor says that she plans to be at her Manhattan office tomorrow, Arthur.
That's right. She's
going to meet with key leaders. Natasha and Steve, it was already a bombshell that half the deputy mayors here at City Hall gave notice today that they are resigning. Now, there are 8 deputy mayors. They have different roles, and these are the top ones. As you said, the breaking news continues on this tonight with the governor's statement. In it, she says she herself spoke with the first deputy tonight, and as the statement reads, we want to be specific here. She says that if they feel unable to serve in City Hall at this time, that raises serious questions about the long-term future of this mayoral administration. Now, why does it matter what Governor Kathy Hochul thinks about that? It is because the governor has a constitutional power to remove the mayor from office. Now, the governor points out this is something that has never actually been used before.
Which she did not do. She was contemplating it. She didn't do it. She didn't do it. She weak as hell, too. I can't stand her either. I think she's an idiot. Governor Hochul is an idiot. I can't believe they even re-elected her. Okay, I think I just got a couple of more, and I'll be done on Eric Adams for a minute. It's pouring down rain in here. It is raining so hard. Okay, I'm not playing that. We already talked about that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna let that go. I'm deleting these. I'm just playing this one last one. Oh, shit. Let me delete these. I got one more I'm gonna play. Just give me a second. I want to make sure I delete this stuff. Okay, yeah, this is the last one. Okay, this is it. This is the last video. Like, share, subscribe, hit that like button, please.
8:32, everybody. We are awaiting a judge's ruling on whether or not to dismiss those corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
So the judge says he wants to consider all sides and not shoot from the hip in making his decision. So this morning, we're joined by Eastern District Judge Frederick Block, who has been on the bench for 40 years and can give us some insight into what exactly is happening. So good morning to you, Judge Block.
Good morning, but it's 30 years, but I like 40 years.
Oh,
there you go.
30
Okay.
years.
I'm glad I came today. Hopefully I'll make another 10 years.
There you go.
Well, it is really great to have you here. So thanks
Good to
for
be
waking up early to be with us. We just want to kind of lay out what exactly Judge Ho is going through right now, because he says he wants to make a.
It's been down there too.
So does he actually have a team that helps him go through all these legal briefs? What now?
Well, the process is really pretty consistent what we do all the time. When we have a controversy matter. We bring the lawyers into court, we hear them out, we try to decide how we should process a case. Some cases require a hearing, some can be done just on the briefs or the papers. Each case is an individual case by itself. I don't know much about this, and I don't know Judge Ho. I know him professionally because I read his decisions, and many times I, rely upon them in cases that I'm writing about. But, it's simply a process that we have to go through, and each case is individual.
So go ahead. No, so you don't know if he has a team, or does he do everything on his own?
Does he do everything on his own?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I assume he does what every judge does. I mean, we have law clerks, we have a whole staff there at our disposal, and we're blessed with the fact that we have these talented young people. Most of them just out of law school. And
let me get to the point.
In a case like this, right? Will the judge appoint a special prosecutor? What goes into that decision about appointing somebody else?
I have the heart to appoint any such.
Okay, well, let's shift gears then. We want to talk about, you're a very leading advocate in sentencing. First of all, can you kind of lay out what that is exactly?
So we have the First Step Act.
We done.
As you know.
All right, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We done with Mayor Adams for a while. I'm not coming back, but tomorrow we're going to deal with Mama Duck and the Chicago crew down there. And then we got some trending topics.